The first car engines were a far cry from the sophisticated machines we see today. Early pioneers tinkered and toiled, dreaming of a world where horses were for racing, not transportation. In the late 19th century, those dreams became a reality. The internal combustion engine, the heart of most cars on the road today, sputtered to life. These early engines were rough around the edges, noisy and prone to breakdowns, but they worked. They harnessed the power of controlled explosions to propel a vehicle forward. It was revolutionary. Think about it. No more hay, no more mucking out stables, just pure, unadulterated freedom on four wheels. From those humble beginnings, the car engine evolved rapidly. Engineers, bless their cotton socks, continually found ways to squeeze more power and efficiency out of these mechanical marvels. Materials got stronger, designs got smarter, and the car you see in your driveway today is a testament to their ingenuity. But even with all the advancements, one fundamental principle remains the same. You need a way to make the engine go boom, and that, my friends, is where fuel comes in. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How does an engine actually work? Imagine a cylinder, a bit like a soup can with a piston that moves up and down inside. Fuel and air mix inside this cylinder, then a spark, bang, ignites the mixture. This explosion forces the piston down, and this downward movement through a series of clever mechanical connections turns the car's wheels. It's a bit like pushing off the ground with your foot to move your bike forward. But instead of your leg, it's a series of controlled explosions happening hundreds of times every minute. This is the basic principle behind most car engines. Media. Various engine designs showcasing different variations. Of course, there are many variations on this theme. Some engines have more cylinders, some have turbochargers to boost power, but the underlying idea is the same. Controlled explosions make the car go vroom. But what about the fuel itself? Well, just like you wouldn't put diesel in a petrol car, or at least you shouldn't. Different fuels have different properties that affect how an engine performs. Let's talk fuel, shall we? The petrol engine has been the workhorse of the automotive world for decades. It's relatively simple, generally reliable, and offers a good balance of power and efficiency. Car enthusiast. Then there's diesel. Diesel engines have a reputation for being grunty and fuel efficient, but they can also be a bit clattery and less refined than their petrol counterparts. Diesel engines shine when it comes to towing and hauling, hence their popularity in lorries and large SUVs. But hold on to your hats because the game is changing. Electric cars are no longer a futuristic fantasy. They're here, and they're here to stay. Instead of internal combustion, electric cars use an electric motor powered by a battery. No explosions, no emissions, just pure electric glide. Now, each of these fuel types has its own set of pros and cons, which is what we'll be diving into next. Buckle up! Section 4. Weighing the options. The good, the bad, and the fuel efficient. Petrol engines, as we've established, are a known quantity. They're readily available, and petrol stations are as common as, well, petrol stations. But they're not the most fuel-efficient option, and their emissions contribute to air pollution.
Diesel engines, on the other hand, sip fuel more judiciously, but their exhaust can contain nasty particulates that aren't exactly good for your lungs or the environment.
Electric cars, being the new kids on the block, are still finding their footing. They offer zero tailpipe emissions and ludicrous acceleration, but their range can be limited, and charging infrastructure is still catching up.
So, which fuel type reigns supreme? Well, it's not a simple answer. It depends on your needs, driving habits, and how much you value things like performance, fuel economy, and environmental impact.
Section 5. The road ahead, powering into the future. As we hurtle towards the future, the automotive landscape is changing faster than ever. Electric cars are gaining traction, and alternative fuels like hydrogen are being explored.
One thing is certain. The internal combustion engine as we know it is living on borrowed time. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Innovation is the lifeblood of the car industry, and the quest for cleaner, more efficient, and more exciting ways to power our vehicles will continue to drive progress.
So, whether you're a die-hard petrol head or an electric car enthusiast, one thing's for sure. The future of car engines is going to be one heck of a ride.